All right, Chad, how you doing?
Oh, I'm not too bad today, Isaac. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's just another glorious day in Slate Run. It is October, and it's feeling like September.
Yeah, it sure is. Sure is. A lot of things changing. The leaves are changing. The fish activity's changing, and even the deer activity. So that's what's got me a little excited for this time of year.
Absolutely. Well, this is the first ever sit-down interview here for our newsletter. And we're labeling it Beers and Browns, but we are at Tome Flats right now, and the park regulations we don't want to mess with. So we are going to get rid of the beer at this point. But Chad, I'd like to ask you a couple questions for the general public so they know a little bit more info about the area, the rules and regs, and some of the problems that you've run into this year as we're coming to a end of the season wrap here. So first things first, now that summer's over and the water's cooled down, we notice at the shop a little less pressure on the mouth of the tributary streams this year. Now, as you know, that when the water heats up on the Pine Creek, which it does almost every year, it's inevitable, those trout will gather by these little streams for cold water or a cold water source. Now, what are your thoughts on people fishing this area when they start to gather?
Well, Isaac, that's a good question. Certainly hoping to provide some sort of insight to that, the best that I can. What I think on it is, it's open to fishing. It's the whole section's catch and release, all tackle, and the people that are buying fishing licenses and contributing to the stocking program, that are contributing even to the Brown Trout Club stocking efforts, they expect to be able to fish for those fish. They want to be able to go out and enjoy their time out from maybe on vacation or time with the family, and it's a great opportunity to teach young anglers the rights and wrongs, maybe from a conservation standpoint of, hey, when the water is low and these fish are congregated there, let's maybe take this as a teaching opportunity to teach our young anglers and those coming up through the ranks. Maybe we want to avoid fishing for these fish, and these are the reasons why. The reasons why are temperature, oxygen, and maybe a limited amount of food source for those fish. But as far as fishing for them, I think that fishermen, fisherwomen, they all have an obligation to fish for those fish. They buy the license, they contribute, and the efforts. We would like to see them fishing. We certainly want to protect the resource, but we also want people to enjoy the resource. So
yeah.
Does that answer your question?
That sure does. Okay, another question in relation to that, to the prior question, from your standpoint. Let's say if I were to go out and fish by the mouth of these tributaries, hook into a fish, he runs out into the warmer water, the 70-degree water, and he stresses himself out. I go to release him, he turns belly up. Now let's say you're behind me, or if any other fish warden's behind me, what is your stance on that? In the special regs area, I should say.
Yeah, okay.
The trout is harmed or it's killed.
That's a good question. I mean, there's the letter of the law and the spirit of the law. I try to work as reasonably as what I can. The regulation specifically says that no trout may be killed, harmed, or in possession. So if it's a blatant violation to where somebody's keeping that fish intentionally and not giving any effort to throw that fish back, or if it does become belly up, I would say it's situational based. It's dependent every time. I would say if there is an angler that finds himself in that position, to contact the Fish and Boat Commission, contact us and let us know, hey, we had a mistake catch, just like with the Game Commission, there's a mistake kill. We could be reasonable and maybe problem solve it, especially with the kids or somebody that was truly not intentional. With that, we do have needy families out there, and there would be certainly the opportunity to take that fish if it was certainly a mistake and get that into the hands of that needy family. We usually have a list at a localized level where people will come up and say, hey, if you get any fish, or if something has happened, then what do you do with them? Well, we give them to these families. So that's my recommendation there. And I would go from there and, hey, how we doing? And then go from there. But contact the Fish and Boat Commission. You can find our information online, fishandboat.com. Get information off of our app, Fish Boat PA. Some excellent resources out there online, and even with the book that we do give out with every fishing license has contact information, and it does have some tips, some helpful tips on how to properly catch and release. So if you do find yourself in a situation where you are catching those fish, maybe try to educate yourself and reach out and find some helpful tips there and get that settled away. So.
Okay. Now another question here. The Fish Commission hasn't had a raise in a good bit. Now you guys do you put in a lot of effort to stock, not only Pine Creek but the other local stock streams, and there hasn't been a raise in a while. Now how can we, the public, the general public, the fishermen, how can we help out the Fish Commission to make sure that not only you guys keep stocking, but you guys keep doing the good work that you guys are doing?
Well, number one, I think you got to take a look at the service that's provided. Like with anything, your bills at your house, your bills, college tuition, stuff like that, it's all going up. College tuition's going up. Prices are going up, expenses for the Fish and Boat Commission. You take a look at it and it's like, hey, all these are going up. We don't have a raise or anything, and it's a very complex issue.
Yeah.
But the service that the Fish and Boat Commission is providing, and we got a lot of vacant law enforcement districts. We got a lot of vacant positions within fisheries, and I think that license increase would certainly help nullify a lot of those issues. But we're providing a decreased service to the people who are expecting a law enforcement officer to be out there within these vacant law enforcement districts. We're looking, and people are expecting this service, and due to the fact that we're having to cut a lot of things, and we're doing more with less is what we're trying to do, but it's really hard. So what I would recommend is get in touch with your local legislature, your state representative, your senator. Senate Bill 30 is the bill specifically that's being talked about. And a lot of people think that it's just going to be a raise, and the legislatures won't have any say into it. Well, it's certainly going to let the Fish and Boat Commission kind of set their own fees if it does get passed. There would be a license increase, but it wouldn't just be the Fish Commission and, okay, your boat registration's gone up to $60 and your fishing license $100. Like the legislature would never let that happen, So I would recommend just reaching out. There's a lot of things that it's complex. It costs a lot of money to raise trout, and at the end of the day, $20 for a fishing license, how can you beat that?
Yeah.
If it goes up to $26, I would still buy a fishing license personally. I mean, I get so much enjoyment out of it, and as a WCO, we have a lot of influence within our own communities, and I try to if I'm on duty, I'll try to stop in and buy my fishing license at the local level, like at the local sportsman's,
like Wolf's General
Store, Don Kelly's Tackle Shack, something like that. Try to support the local communities, and that's me. That's the fish and my patrol vehicle. If I stop in and get gas somewhere, try to stop at these mom and pop places, and that's giving back. That's priming into the economy. The economies, people coming and from out of state, people coming from different parts of the state, they're coming into these areas and they're spending money. So that fishing license is generating revenue at certain other levels as well. So it's not, the Fish Commission, it costs a lot of money to raise trout. It costs a lot of money to transport the trout. It costs a lot of money for enforcement. And so far, we've done a good job of making sure that we're not spending irresponsibly, and we're really trying to spend, within our means. So that's what I'd recommend. Contact your legislature, write a letter in support or in support or against, and if that's how you feel, and just be honest.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Gotcha.